This video was sponsored by Raycon.
Do you hear that? That's right, that's the sound of hundreds of alternate universe Arlos not terrorizing me! I got them all their own Raycon Everyday E25 wireless earbuds, and now they're too busy listening to podcasts to bother me. Alternate Arlos come in all shapes and sizes, and yet the E25s will fit comfortably into any ear, especially thanks to this assortment of silicone tips. Look at these little guys, they're very helpful. The E25s offer the quality of other premium wireless earbuds at about half the price, and they're so sleek and low profile that the Arlos never have to complain to me about sore ears and bulky headphones and cables and all that. And as they all learned very quickly, the E25s can last up to 6 hours on a charge, and this little charging case can carry them even further, meaning an alternate Arlo can listen for up to 24 hours before busting in here and demanding to use my outlet. And me? I've been enjoying my Raycons as much as always. Festive, Christmassy music follows me wherever I go. So if you've got a bizarre alternate universe version of yourself, or, you know, like a friend or family member or something, and you're looking for a great gift this holiday season, look no further than the Raycon Everyday E25s. They're already a great price for the quality, and on top of that, my viewers can get 15% off by heading to buyraycon.com/Arlo or clicking the link down in the description. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some peace to enjoy. Oh, no.
Forget what?
Hello, my miraculous friends. I'm here with another one of these kind of casual, off-the-cuff discussion videos just about something that's been on my mind recently, especially as we move toward the end of a year and the beginning of a mysterious new year. And the thing that I have been thinking about recently is as follows. I feel that there is a very strong chance that Nintendo Directs, as we knew them, are done for. Dead. A thing of the past. I feel that Nintendo has probably moved past needing that format to deliver their news. Sometime back, President Furukawa said that Directs would stick around for as long as Nintendo felt they were the best way to deliver news, but that they were always looking for the next best way. And so, I mean, that's obvious. If something better comes along, then they will do that thing. And I think they might have found there's something better. But in order to give you that's my thesis right there. Now I will give you my evidence to back it up. So let's just look at basically a timeline of this year. This year has been weird for sure. There are the obvious reasons. There are lots and lots of delays in the industry. Everything is harder to do. So that's all the understandable stuff. But it was weird even before that. Even going into it, we were all waiting to see what Nintendo was going to announce, and we were feeling kind of weirded out that they hadn't announced anything, because usually they announce their big projects so far ahead of time. We were like, what even is this year? What even is next year? We really didn't know. And so then heading into all of this gross stuff, all of the understandable delays, like we were already feeling like, where's the games? What games are they even working on? And I definitely got a bit more nervous when we did get a Direct Mini at the start of the year. I mean, we were kind of expecting a big one just because we didn't know anything about the year. So we're like, okay, you gotta have some stuff to announce. But instead they gave us a Mini, which under normal circumstances, if they actually announced anything in the Mini, that would be fine. They had a Mini a couple years ago that was basically like a full Direct. They still announced a bunch of stuff. This Mini, it's really just like Clubhouse Games. That was like the one first-party Nintendo announcement. And that's like, okay, you gotta have more than that. So like that was weird. Even with the delays, even with everything going on, it was like, there's got to be more than that. But despite how weird that was, I did assume that the lack of a regular, more traditional Direct was temporary. Going into June, Nintendo announced that they would not be having any sort of E3 press conference. There wasn't even actually an E3 this year. And so again, like that was disappointing, but it still felt temporary. It still felt like, well, this is a weird year. They're not having one. Like, whatever. It's understandable. But then one day, everything changed. Possibly forever. One day, I woke up and Nintendo had just randomly dropped a reveal of a new Paper Mario game. This was a major AAA first-party Nintendo game that they just dropped. They didn't put it in a Direct or anything. They could have put it in the mini. I'm sure they could have, but instead they elected to just kinda drop it on us. And even when that happened, to me, it didn't feel like this was a new precedent being set. This felt like a placeholder. This felt like a reaction from Nintendo. Well, we're having a hard time putting together directs. Everything is weird this year, so let's just throw it at them. You know, it felt like a weird kind of, almost like an experiment. Like the first time they'd ever really done something like that for a major game reveal. And it was just kind of like, well, you know, it's better than nothing. We didn't get a direct, but we still got this reveal. They just kind of gave it to us. That felt like a new experimental kind of way to just adapt in this weird year. But then, slowly throughout the year, we started to get more and more evidence that things were changing. That this year was actually going to be a very, very weird year in terms of how Nintendo announced their games. Nintendo started doing more random game reveal drops. Pikmin 3 was announced just randomly one morning. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, boom, you wake up, there it is. Basically all of their major games for this year were announced in this fashion. And when I take this like all by itself, you could still say maybe it's still temporary. Maybe this is it's not a new normal, it's just the way they're doing it this year. But random game reveals weren't the only things we got. We started to get Nintendo Direct Mini partner showcases. Was it just about every month or every other month or something? We got a bunch of them throughout the year where specifically third-party games, third-party publishers and developers were revealing their games. They were directs just for third-party stuff. It was like Nintendo saying, we could put our stuff into a direct, but we don't want it. We are actively avoiding it. We clearly are able to put together a direct now. That's not a problem anymore. We can do it, but we're not doing it with our own stuff. We are specifically only doing it with third-party stuff. And that was weird. They had games. It wasn't like this whole global situation made them not able to complete their games. No, they had the games. They had the games to reveal to us. I mean, imagine an E3 presentation that gave us Origami King and Pikmin and Age of Calamity. Like, that would have been a great E3. They had the games to show us. They just really, really didn't want to. They actively didn't want to put them into a direct. They instead wanted to give directs to these third-party games and stuff. The only exception being the 35th anniversary direct for Mario. That was it. That was the exception. It wasn't a full regular direct. Instead, they just had so much Mario news to put together that they put that into a direct. So it's like it was a direct, and it was, fairly meaty. It was like a direct mini in terms of length, but it had a whole bunch of announcements in it. But that was just Mario. So like again, that kind of felt like an exception to the new rule that they were making. Nothing is going to be in a direct unless we need a direct to deliver all of the information. We have so much to give that we have to put it into a direct because we can't reveal all these things randomly again and again and again. It's just too many things to reveal. Then on top of everything else, we have gotten a few Treehouse presentations. Normally, Treehouse presentations are reserved for E3 time. They do their show, they reveal their games, they have a couple days, and then it's just Treehouse presentations to give us deeper dives on these revealed games. But this time they elected not to just do it around E3. It wasn't just an E3 replacement. They did these for all, I believe for all of these major games they revealed this year. They just kind of did them, they revealed them, and then later they did another trailer, and then they did a Treehouse. And then a little bit down the line, it was released. They kind of established that a Treehouse presentation can come anytime, at any part of the year, to advertise any game. So now here's where we come to it. What I'm trying to say is, they have, this isn't placeholder stuff anymore. This feels like a new normal. Because honestly, it doesn't feel like a compromise anymore. That first time they randomly dropped a game on us, that felt like a compromise. That felt like they were just doing what they could, not dolling it up too much, just throwing it out there. But now that we've seen how the whole year went, we've seen the bigger picture a lot more clearly. It's starting to feel like a plan, like a new normal, a new strategy. It is a new format that is working. It doesn't really feel like it's lacking at all. In fact, there's a tremendous benefit to this new format. Every time you reveal a game, you're gonna get a big, big Twitter storm, all the internet talking about it. You're not competing with any other news pieces. If you reveal a new Box Boy and a new Zelda in one direct, which one do you think is gonna get the most attention? When they do this, it means that every single individual game gets its own little time in the spotlight. Every individual reveal can get its, trending hashtag and all that stuff. Then, purely as needed, they don't have to wait until E3 to give us all these treehouse presentations. They're like, no, reveal a game, here's a treehouse presentation. And that doesn't even need to be a direct specifically about that game. I'm sure those kinds of things, specific directs, those will keep happening because they often just have info dumps. They just want to reveal a bunch of stuff about games. I could see those coming back more so in upcoming years. But just like regular gameplay, just showing off the gameplay, people talking, like, that's what a treehouse is, that can work at any time for any game. Then keeping the partner showcases separate. Again, if you've got a giant first-party Nintendo announcement, it's not going to overshadow any of the other third-party announcements. I'm sure third parties are actually very happy that their own stuff is getting its own presentation. One could technically argue that there are fewer eyes on these presentations versus a big direct where everyone is watching and everyone sees it. So you can kind of go either way there. Either way, whether or not the making the partner showcases separate is a good thing. But overall, though, it's working so well and there's so much benefit to it. And like the idea of this being the new norm, it's only slightly disappointing. That's because, like, I love directs. I've said that before. I don't want them to go away. I love the idea of a big presentation where you're getting lots of reveals and you never know what's gonna happen. It's like opening up a Christmas present or a bunch of Christmas presents. You never know what's gonna be there. You never know what's gonna be around the next turn. The screen goes to black. Just anything in the world could happen on that screen. But the thing is, like, that satisfaction, is that worth trying to preserve? I love it personally, but like, it's not influencing my purchasing decisions. It's not influencing anyone else's purchasing decisions. It's just kind of a fun thing. So I don't know if that's really worth using that format just because I want him to, just because I think it's fun. Because game reveals are pretty much fun no matter what. And in fact, I will even say I do miss the directs, and yet having all of these announcements spread out throughout the year, that was fun in its own way. Like, for a while there, for a few months, it seemed like these announcements were pretty close together, so you never knew when you were gonna wake up and find the next big thing. I mean, absolutely any time, any given day. I mean, they still basically followed the same, like, it's either Monday or Tuesday or certain days of the week or whatever. But for the most part, you don't know. You don't know when it's coming. So, like, that in itself is kind of a new form of excitement. I would say the one real problem is that if you wake up too late and you just look at the internet, I've been lucky enough for my friends to like text me and tell me that there's something so I can, set up the microphone and get my reaction to a thing. So like that is pretty disappointing that if you just like flip open the phone and you're just gonna see it. And like, that's no fun. That's the one benefit of a presentation is you're sitting there. You're like, okay, you are delivering information to me. Deliver it however you want. And so that's much more potential to be really surprised, and Nintendo hasn't really recaptured that, but that's not to say that they can't. If they move forward without traditional directs, all they need to do, like this is literally all they need to do. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed they didn't do it already, because it feels like an obvious answer to me, but they didn't do it. Does that mean they're not going to do it? Maybe they will. Point is, all they need to do is tell us like when something is coming. I know that kind of removes the completely random surprise thing. But at the same time, it would be better for spoilers if they just said, hey, tomorrow, 7 a.m. Pacific time, we are going to reveal a game. And instead of just dropping on YouTube, making it public, they could stream it. It would just be, we are streaming a game reveal. So you're still sitting there, looking at the screen, you don't know what it's gonna be. They could do that. They could easily do that. And I do like the complete random surprise thing. But yeah, it would be better. I've seen a lot of people upset about getting spoiled. Even some upset at me for spoiling it for them because I post a video and they get the notification, and it really stinks, but I don't know what to tell you in that case. Everyone on the internet is talking about the thing. Once it drops, everybody is talking about it. all at the same time, all the YouTubers and everybody, so you kind of just have to. But that's the unfortunate thing, is I don't want that to be a problem. So like, if Nintendo ends up making that one change and just like letting us know when they're gonna give us a reveal, I cannot honestly say that they should go back to traditional directs. I can't think of a real reason why they shouldn't. Like, this new model, it's not even just that it works. Also, as an alternative, it's actually a lot more flexible and probably easy to do. By breaking everything up into more manageable chunks, they have just a lot more flexibility in what they do. They don't have to put together this one big, huge presentation and hope it doesn't get leaked or whatever. I mean, okay, well, they do have to worry about leaks still, because this whole entire year got leaked, but that's a separate discussion. So that's basically all I'm saying. Like, moving forward, they might keep the, like, let's just pretend January 1st, everything goes back to normal, completely. I sure would love that. It's not gonna happen, but it sure would be nice. I could see them keeping this format. I could see them not returning to traditional directs anytime soon, and they could do them selectively, like, you know, the Mario one. Like, we did get one Mario one, which was a lot of games in one, but it was a specific one, and then we did get a mini, or two, were there two minis? I can't remember. It's because nothing was announced in them. And they could do game-specific ones again, or, you know, like next year we could get a Zelda anniversary one. I think that's actually pretty likely. But as far as like regular, traditional Nintendo Directs goes for announcing new stuff, they might be gone. And you know what? It's Nintendo. They could do whatever they want. Like, they could not do one all year next year, and then the following year they have two or one, you know, one every 3 years. They're flying by the seat of their pants. They can do whatever they want. It's possible that they don't have like a hard set in stone plan. But yeah, the whole point I'm trying to make is just, don't be surprised if they don't come back. Don't be surprised if these random reveals are what we get now, and the tree houses and direct minis and partner showcases and stuff, because it works. They were forced to do something different, and they did, and it worked really well. So go down to the comments, let me know what you think about all this. Would you miss traditional directs? Do you think this new format is actually kind of better? Or do you not care at all in the slightest? Please let me know. And thank you for watching. Have a good day. I'll be sure to wander back in here and turn the microphone back on the next time I have a thing that's just rattling around in my head that I just wanna talk about for a while. I love you. See you later.